I've sat across the table from people that were 40, 50, $60,000 in credit card debt.
Yeah,
Right.
I've seen it.
So not only are we not starting at zero, we're starting at negative 60 that we
Right.
then have to dig ourselves out of.
37% of Americans.
Yeah, can't handle if a $400 unexpected expense pops up. When you buy your auto insurance, most people don't think that's a financial decision, but it is. Like if you don't have the money to pay for it today in cash, then you can't afford it. Yeah, just because you make money doesn't mean you're good with money.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Business Casual. My name is Keith Smith. I'm here with Shane Stelma. Some unfamiliar faces for this episode. Longo took a bit of a break. We have a bit of a different episode today that we're excited about. Rapid fire questions that we've got from viewership, things that we see online. So we could jump right in here. First question: what's the most common financial trap people fall into in their 20s?
I
I'm
mean,
gonna go with debt.
debt, but that's subject to debate. I would say waiting to start.
Waiting to start.
Like saving, investing. They think that, I can live life, enjoy it while I'm young.
Worry about it later.
I can worry about it later. I'll do it in my 30s or in my 40s. For me, that's the biggest one.
What do you think the benefit to starting young is? I mean, obviously, like maybe I know, but maybe people don't know like the importance of actually starting young. I mean, those years 21 to 25 are a lot different than years 31 to 35.
Correct. First thing is you're building a good habit. Second is you're allowing your money to grow. For most people, a large majority of your wealth is built in the last 5 years of your career.
Right.
And that is because you've allowed your money to grow uninterrupted for the last 20 or 30 years.
Yeah.
So you have to start that timeline as soon as humanly possible to get that large explosion on the back end.
Right.
With market performance.
Right. All right. Next question. At what point does credit card debt become a serious problem?
I mean,
That's pretty subjective too.
Yeah. I mean, if you're buying something and you don't have the money to do it, that's a serious problem. So I would say the day that you can't pay that credit card off at the end of the month, you're starting a bad habit. I've sat across the table from people that were 40, 50, $60,000 in credit card debt.
Yeah.
Right.
I've seen it.
So not only are we not starting at zero, we're starting at negative 60 that we then have to dig ourselves out of. And it really is like climbing a mountain. I mean, it is tough.
Yeah.
So yeah, credit card debt, it sucks. It is a function of like society.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's needed. But it's definitely something that we want to avoid as much as possible.
I think seeing people pay minimums, like if you're doing that and you're just floating minimums and then, your interest is compounding. I mean, if you're, like you said, if you're not paying it off at the end of each month, that's probably when it's starting to become a problem.
Yeah. I mean, you get into like these financial hacks, right? Where, if you're going and buying a cup of coffee at Starbucks and you use your credit card because you get points or rewards and cash back, right? It only is beneficial if at the end of the month you pay that bill off.
Yeah. All right, next one. What's the biggest mistake people make with car purchases? I think that the biggest mistake people make is purchasing a car that is too expensive for them.
Yeah, flexing.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, $800 car payment and they're saving no money.
Yeah.
When you could have bought something, much more reasonably priced. I mean, it's just getting you from work to home and you don't need an expensive car if you can't afford it. If you can't afford it, that's fine, right?
Yeah. I mean, we talk about like the concept of like going broke trying to look rich.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you have to live within your means if you want to have some level of financial success. For some people, they like to spend in abundance because it keeps them motivated.
Yeah.
But
that's true.
For those people, like they have some level of financial built up to where they can justify it, but you don't see a lot of people that are starting from zero going out and buying a $1,000 or $1,500 a month car and being able to fight out of that hole.
That's insane. I kind of like this one. Can a high income, this is in your professional opinion, can a high income still lead to financial problems?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's
maybe
a no-brainer.
even more.
Yeah, just because you make money doesn't mean you're good with money.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. We see it. We see it all
yeah.
the time. I mean, high earners, and then like that's when the credit card comes into play.
The
And
spending just becomes higher,
right,
right? I've sat across from people making north of $500,000 a year that were still living paycheck to paycheck, right?
that just blows my mind.
Yeah, it happens.
All right, what else do we got up here?
I
What's
mean,
a financial trap people think is normal, but actually isn't?
um,
I don't know what that means.
for that one's tough. I mean, like, how would we define a financial trap?
Maybe that's like the credit card. Like is that a financial trap? Like they think it's okay to be in credit card debt?
I mean, we could talk about like good debt versus bad debt. I mean, that's kind of a more common thing. Like, what is good debt? What is bad debt?
Yeah, I think that question's
Um,
kind of ambiguous.
Well,
Student
what
loans
is
is
a
a tough one.
financial trap? Let's define that.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I mean, that could really be anything.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, there's a litany of things like buy now, pay later,
Oh, I
the
mean
credit
that's
card
probably a financial
stuff.
trap. Buy now, pay later. What are your thoughts on buy now, pay later?
I mean, that kind of goes right back to the credit cards. Like, if you don't have the money to pay for it today in cash, then you can't afford it, and you probably shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you can't pay that credit card bill off at the end of the month, then you're just creating a domino effect on future financial you.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say another big financial trap, depending on the field you're going into, is student loans, right? Is it financially responsible for me to go to an Ivy League school to study a certain field where I'm never going to be able to make enough money to get out from under those student loans, right? So a lot of that is subject to what do I actually think my career is going to look like, that kind of thing. But for me, I would say a big financial trap is not planning around student loans and how you're going to pay them off.
But I mean, how could you expect anyone? I mean, when I took out my student loans, I just wanted to go to school.
Yeah.
Like there's no education or anything around it.
No, I think school has become a justification to party a little bit, right? People go to college to get away from their parents, have fun.
Yeah.
They get a degree because it's kind of something you have to do to stay in school. But yeah, I mean, you have to have some reasonable understanding of like where you want to be and study the right fields. And
I just know I needed to take out student loans because I needed money, but I had
Yeah.
no information on what those student loan payments are going to be like after I got out of college, when they start accruing interest.
yeah,
Kind of what that looked like. I mean, they provide no sort of education on that.
yeah.
I think that, would be good for people who are younger and thinking about going to college, and, if they're going to take out loans, I mean, there should be some sort of education around that.
Yeah.
Keith, I was in the same point with my MBA. Like, I knew I needed loans to be able to survive going through my MBA. So I just took them out. But I think it is a financial trap if you're using it for the wrong purposes.
Yeah, that was probably me. I was probably taking out too much money, or money that I didn't need, a couple extra spending dollars in college. But I mean, I wouldn't say I regret it, but I know there are people out there who, are different situation than I am that definitely do.
Yeah.
All right, next one here. I saw an interesting one. Why do people delay buying insurance or protection planning until it's too late?
The false belief that they don't need it. They think they can just get it later and it's not going to hurt them.
Does that come from just being a novice and not having an understanding? Like, or do people, have some sort of an understanding, but they just put it off? I really think it's just them,
Yeah, I would
not
say
having an understanding.
I would say not having an understanding. I mean, I can remember going through college, going through grad school. Like if somebody called me and I had a conversation with them about my finances and they told me I needed to buy insurance, I would have thought they were crazy.
Yeah.
But as you get older and you understand how money works and the importance of money continuing to come in, right? Like, so I'm married now. I have a daughter. She's going to be turning 7 in July. If something were to happen to me, whether it's a disability or me, God forbid, passing away, financially, it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Right. And then you deal with the emotional side of it. It can just create a compounding problem that, it's hard for us to even comprehend.
Yeah. You can obtain coverage, and that's kind of where we help people and work with them.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be
It
expensive.
has to be reasonable for them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's not like you have to be comfortable with it and be able to. It's really our job to figure that out for you.
Yeah.
But the importance of it, it's
Yeah, I mean, you're not talking about anything crazy. I mean, for decent coverage, you're probably talking around, 40 to $100 a month. Like, it's nothing that's going to break the bank.
Yeah.
It's more for peace of mind.
It's like, how many times did you order Uber Eats this past month?
Yeah,
You
like,
spent
don't go to the
$300
bar.
on Uber Eats,
Yeah,
but
like,
you
don't
can't
go to the
protect
bar
you
and
your
have a couple
family.
of beers.
Right.
Like, you'll survive. Like, it kind of goes back to some of the other conversations we've had about, like, at some point we have to adult a little bit and just make the adult decision on getting some of this stuff in place.
I kind of like this one, this last one here at the end. How do people get stuck in a paycheck to paycheck cycle, even with decent salaries?
It's because they focus on savings over spending. Um,
What do you mean by that?
so for a lot of people that live paycheck to paycheck, some of that is economically driven. Like, things are just expensive,
True.
right? And I think the government has to do its job and try and make these things cheaper for us and put some of that downward pressure on pricing. But they can only do so much, right? It's going to take time for a lot of these things to kick in and start to take effect, and for us to feel that pressure come off of these pricings. But we have to do our own part, right? So for a lot of the people we're talking to from a cash flow structure is to get focused on spending a certain amount of money, right? If I'm making $4,000 a month, I'm going to limit myself to spending 3,500.
So you're focusing on the spending aspect of it.
Correct. The savings becomes unconscious. It just happens. It's a function of me holding myself accountable to spending a certain amount of money.
I think it's habits. People get stuck in the paycheck to paycheck cycle.
Yeah.
And that's where we kind of talk about automating some things.
I mean, lifestyle creep is real,
Yeah.
right? The more we make, the more we're willing to spend on things, right?
Which is okay too, but you got to make sure that money's going away up front.
And again, it gets set on, if I get a 4% raise, maybe I'll only allow myself to spend 3% more money.
Yeah.
Right. Now we just compounded our savings rate into a higher number, and is going to positively impact me financially moving forward.
All right. I see this. We're kind of moving down here. Is cutting expenses or increasing income the better first move?
I mean, it's hard to increase your income at the flip of a switch.
Yeah, that's true.
We don't know what our verticality is in a job, right? Some people are capped where they're not going to see substantial increases.
These are kind of black and white questions.
Yeah.
It's kind of just up to us to.
Yeah. I mean, the easy answer is cutting expenses, but then you get back into, do budgets work? And I think we can agree that they don't.
I kind of look at it like a business. Just increasing revenue doesn't mean that all your problems are solved. A lot of times cutting expenses is the first step.
Yeah.
At least from.
Well, then you get into lifestyle creep, right? I mean, that wouldn't even be a thing if people could just make more money and then save.
Yeah.
People make more money.
Make more money and spend more money.
Yeah. I mean, there's reasons why we have terms for these things. It's because they happen.
All right, here's a good one down the bottom. When should someone seek professional financial advice?
I mean, the sooner the better. When you think of all the stuff that we do and we impact for people, anytime they're making a money decision is a financial decision. It's going to have lasting impact, right? When you buy your auto insurance, most people don't think that's a financial decision, but it is. Right. You're making a decision around your deductible, how much you're willing to pay for that coverage, the level of coverage, what carrier you're going to be using. Those are all financial decisions, and they can be good decisions. They can be bad decisions.
I think that's normally someone's first financial product that they buy, and they really don't even have an understanding of how any of it works.
It's the first financial product that they buy directly. I mean, there's other financial products that they have probably while they're younger.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, health insurance.
Right.
That's a massive one. Savings accounts, brokerage accounts, custodial accounts. So your parents are potentially setting up for you 529 plans. Like, these are all financial products that you had no say in, and whether it was implemented or not,
hmm
that you're going to either reap or suffer the consequences of it as you get older and take control over those things.
Yeah. So when should someone seek professional financial advice? I would say once you start working, once you start making money,
Yeah.
you know,
I
like,
mean, one of the first conversations we have as people come out of college is like, let's sit down and review your group benefits.
yeah.
I mean, that's a very important conversation to have. So yeah, right away, as quickly as you can possibly do it.
Do you see any on here that are interesting to you?
I mean, building an emergency fund. I mean,
What does that look like in your professional opinion? What is an emergency fund?
I mean, what would you
Which
say most people think is an emergency fund?
they'd be like, I don't even have one. I feel like the majority of Americans, I would say maybe 3 to 6 months of expenses is what people would kind of say.
I would say that's what we recommend they have.
Yeah.
Like, Troy, can you pull up how much does the average American have in an emergency fund or a savings?
I think I've seen this before. It's like somebody
It's
like it's less than
scary.
$1,000. Like you're
It
and
has to be less than 1,000.
yeah, which is crazy to me. I mean, it's just things are just so fragile, like in your
Yeah.
life, if that's the
All right.
case.
All right. So the average American household has approximately 62,410 in transactional savings.
But how much
But
is in like a pure savings account?
a more accurate reflection for most is the median balance of $8,000, with 37% of Americans unable to cover a $400
Okay,
emergency.
37% of
Yeah,
Americans.
can't handle if a $400 unexpected expense pops up.
That's a lot of people. Like how
Yeah.
many people are in America?
I
Troy,
mean,
Google
north,
that.
it's north of 100 million, right?
Oh,
It's
yeah, no, it's a lot more than that.
100 million is in the
What is it, like
workforce.
300
I think.
million? I don't know.
It's in the 300 millions, like
yeah,
360.
Right, whatever,
something.
half of that's 150.
yeah. So
Say
100 million people can't handle
$400.
essentially a $400 emergency,
That's
which
insane.
is terrifying, right? I mean, there's good advice out there, right? And I know we've talked about this in the past. If we sit down in front of somebody and we can solely help them become a better saver,
That's first step.
yeah, they're going to be much better off financially. But we need to get down to the root of it. Is it self-inflicted? Are they living above their means and they can't afford to maintain that lifestyle?
Yeah.
Or is bad things just continuing to happen and they need help with trying to navigate those things? Like, we don't know.
Right.
Yeah, the emergency fund, it's kind of subject to interpretation. I mean, the book answer is 3 to 6 months. But for people that are in a union where, they may work for 6 months out of the year and then they're off on unemployment for 6 months out of the year, they
Yeah.
may need to have a year's worth of expenses set aside
Right.
because their income's so fluctuating and we don't really know.
Troy, do we have another section under this one here too?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up now.
Here's one in the meantime. How long does it realistically take to turn around bad financial habits? I mean, I think these are all kind of ambiguous, but I mean,
It's subject to what the financial habit is,
yeah.
right? If it's bad cash flow management, I mean, that can be just with proper structure and changing that mentality around savings first and spending second.
It's a
And
lot harder if they have a lot of debt.
yeah, I mean, getting out of debt is without argument one of the hardest things to do. Um, the biggest thing that I would say is we can't be embarrassed, right? The decisions we made, they're in the past. Let's leave them in the past. Like,
Yeah.
we don't need to be judged for it. Don't be afraid to come in and ask for help.
Right.
We're happy to do it. It's a judgment-free zone. The biggest thing for us is just making sure that people are heading in the right direction. How long that takes is subject to situation.
Yeah. Let's see here. Why do people underestimate the cost of raising kids and family activities?
I don't know, but
you could speak on that. I
it
don't
is
have children
crazy
yet.
expensive having kids,
I bet.
right? I mean, we are pretty well structured when it comes to our money, right? I mean, we kind of practice what I preach. The hard part is all these birthday parties. Like, my daughter has a
Mine
lot of
right now
friends.
is weddings. I have a ton of weddings.
Yeah, but I mean, from a kid's standpoint, it's all these friends that she has. they all have birthdays. So it's like buying birthday presents, attending these birthday parties. Like they're fun, but they can get expensive.
I feel like just overall in general, people underestimate the cost of pretty much everything.
Yeah, I mean, school,
Yeah, like it just adds up.
college, future weddings. I mean, I know at some point having a daughter, I'm gonna have to pay for a wedding. Not looking forward to that. College is gonna suck. I'm still paying for my college,
Are you?
Hey,
right?
you don't have to pay for the wedding. I know a lot of people's parents that don't.
Yeah, but like I want to have a good relationship with my daughter in the future, and I don't want any resentment.
Yeah.
Like I want to enjoy life and
I'm,
not.
I'm sure you'll be able to do that, Shane.
Yeah.
Let's see. What role? Maybe we can talk a little bit about social media. What role does social media? Maybe just kind of like turning away from this question. Like, what do you think social media? What role does it play in people's lives now, and especially as it pertains to financial literacy? I mean, I feel like there's a lot of good stuff out there, and there's a lot of bad stuff out there, and I feel like it's hard for people to discern between the two of them because
Yeah.
they have these personalities online that they kind of sort of start to trust or have a relationship with without
Yeah.
them actually like knowing kind of how things kind of work and just blindly taking advice.
Yeah.
Like, how can you provide advice to people online?
I mean, nothing you see online is real,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
it's just it's like blanket. It's like
Yeah.
blanketed. I mean, like the work that we do, it's one-on-one. It's personal, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Hey,
I
now,
guess there's general things that people can do and where that's good, but
what we're doing here is real. Okay.
this is real. Yeah, yeah.
No, I'm
we're
talking
on
about,
the
like,
internet too.
these big influencers that post pictures on like private jets, all this stuff.
Oh
Like,
yeah, that stuff's
like you can pay
not
and
real.
go and take a picture in like a fake private jet, and
There's apps. You
post
can
it.
rent a Corvette for
Yeah.
$1,000.
And
a
AI
day.
is making it that much worse,
Mhm.
right? I mean, you could be like, hey, put me on a private jet drinking X, Y, and Z and make it look like this, and
You can
it'll
AI
generate a picture
you
in
can
like
AI
10 seconds.
anything nowadays. It's
Yeah.
insane.
Um,
Ooh, that's maybe a good little segue here. What do you think the role of AI, like how do you think that's going to impact our industry and I guess maybe just overall? I mean, what are your thoughts kind of around that? I feel as if AI or the work that we do, it has to be person to person, like in
Yeah.
the biggest form. Like, I mean, obviously we use AI and it's all around us, but
yeah. I mean, we go back to like, was Terminator actually a documentary or was it like a fictional movie? No, I'm just kidding. I mean, AI is only as good as what we make it,
yeah,
right? It is going to be a tool that we use moving forward. It's going to make our lives easier. But when AI is done properly, I think it can be used for the good, and just make us that much more efficient. From a large scale, who knows? That's above my pay grade.
Have you
quite
heard
frankly.
what Elon Musk's like some of his thoughts around it and like how
A little bit.
I mean
but
they don't some people who are very educated in this field are saying that people aren't going to have to work like in the very near future. I don't even know what like that means. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, how does the economy work?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I guess like you
No.
said, I mean, I don't have any sort of
No, those things
experience
just
with
bring
it.
up more questions, like how do we pay for food? Are we operating in like a communist society, or are we still a capitalist society?
Yeah.
What does that look like? I mean, there's so much more to go into. I mean, if I was smart enough to answer those questions, I don't know if I'd be a financial advisor. I'd be building out some AI systems and solving world problems.
Yeah, it blows my mind, the power of AI. But like we were talking about before, AI doesn't have the personal touch, and that's what's important, kind of,
Yeah.
for the work that we do. If someone listening realizes they might be in a financial trap or in a bad financial position, what's the first step they should take today to start getting out of it?
I mean, the first step would be reaching out to us, having a conversation.
Right.
I mean, most of the advisors that we have work nationwide. This isn't something where you have to be local to Naples, Fort Myers, Florida to come in and have a conversation. I would say 90% of our meetings are done via Zoom. Don't be afraid to come in, ask questions. We don't charge for planning. It's something that we do solely to be able to help as many people as humanly possible. Understanding that if there was a bill, it would be a lot harder for us to help a lot of people.
Right.
I mean, going back to the average American has about $400 in an emergency fund. Like,
That has to change.
we want to help those people as much as humanly possible, kind of find the solutions that they need and help implement them. So, yeah, the first step would be just reaching out to either us or another financial advisor that is educated enough to kind of talk you through how to properly get out from under it.
Yeah. I think people aren't proactive enough. Like they just kind of kick the can down the road, and then next thing you know, 3 years goes by,
Mhm.
you know, or people come back to us. We had a conversation a year ago.
Mhm.
And, you know, then they kind of fall off. Then they come back a year later.
Yeah.
And we're like, hey, like,
They're in
like,
the same spot.
how is that working out for you? You know, kind of the way you were doing things.
Yeah.
All right, now you want to get serious. So it's like it's more about being proactive and setting yourself up now. I mean, you don't want to, and that's just scary to think about, you know, going through financial hardship like a lot of people do in America. And I think the first step is just sitting down with a professional and
Yeah.
evaluating your position and what you want to do and where you want to be. And
Yeah, I mean, we deal with it a lot. Like, some people just have to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
They have to suffer
yeah,
to
they have
realize
to learn
that,
from their
like,
mistakes.
they can't do it on their own.
Right.
I mean, I'm guilty of doing that, so I mean, it just is what it is.
All right. Well, that was a great episode. Thank you
was fun.
for listening. It's a pleasure to be here with you, Shane.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me. Looking forward to doing these again in the future.
All right. Thank you. Bang.
This podcast is intended for general public use and is for informational purposes only. By providing this content, Park Avenue Securities, LLC, and our financial representatives are not undertaking to provide investment advice or make a recommendation for a specific individual or situation, or to otherwise act in a fiduciary capacity. This information should be relied upon only when coordinated with individual professional advice. Keith Smith is a registered representative, and Shane Selma is a registered representative and financial advisor at Park Avenue Securities, LLC, PAS, securities, products, and advisory services offered through PAS, member FINRA, SIPC. Keith Smith and Shane Selma is a financial representative of the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America, Guardian, New York, NY. PAS is a wholly owned subsidiary of Guardian. Alliance Financial Group is not an affiliate or subsidiary of PAS or Guardian. Shane Stelma, CA insurance license number 4118852, AR insurance license 158383330, 889707 3.1, expires 428.